myself before I start the presentation. So I'm Chedo Stanley, coming from Dmi Medical University. I'm standing here as the ODL Deputy Chief Coordinator. And my supervisor, the Chief Coordinator, said, no, I will accompany you where you are going. So I'm with the ODL Chief Coordinator for Dmi, Mrs. Mambwe. She has accompanied me. You can greet the people. So just a bit about Dmi. As you might well know from the name, Dmi Medical University, we are basically dealing with courses related to medics. And so the university started in 2018, somewhere there. And in 2018-2020, the ODL started. At the start of ODL, we only had about maybe 60 students with about 4 programs. And she was the coordinator, and I started helping her. But fast forward, as we speak today, ODL at Dmi has become big. Today, we can talk of about 2,500 to 3,000 students under open distance learning. And we are talking about 16 programs that are under ODL. And so, with this huge number of students, there is a lot that is required in terms of learner support, as well as support to the lecturers. And basically, this is done by myself, and the other members of the ODL. So how do we organize ODL at Dmi? I will explain as I start the presentation. So my presentation, go back a bit, is on learner support and engagement in ODL systems. And this is very important. If you are going to succeed in ODL, engagement of learners and putting in support systems is critical. Thank you. So what are the objectives for this session? One, we want to understand the concept of learner support in ODL. Explore strategies for improving learner engagement. Identify tools and practices that enhance student success. Develop actionable ideas for your courses. Okay. So now we need to understand what we are talking about. What is ODEL? That stands for Open Distance E-Learning, which integrates technology with flexible learning. So when we say flexible learning here, mostly ODL, you are dealing with people that are working. People that have children. People that are living in remote areas where some sometimes access to internet is a challenge. And so the learning has to be flexible. Flexible in terms of what? Delivery, access to materials, access to the e-learning portal, access to the lecturers, access to management, and access also to facilities that will encourage things like registration, post-registration, examinations, preparation. All those will fall under flexibility. Like I've said, it removes barriers of time, location, and the pace. Open distance learning removes barriers of location. You can teach someone using e-learning who is in Eastern Province, who is in Northwestern, and also the time. People don't necessarily have to travel to come here or to come to learn Manawasi. We teach them using the e-learning platforms. Expands access to higher education. As you might know, we have got a lot of in-service members who want to upgrade, but because of the nature of the employment, family matters, they cannot always come to this place, but we teach them using the e-learning platforms. So we give them that opportunity to advance their education through the open distance e-learning platforms. And you require international learner support structures. Sometimes you need to engage, like you have engaged us, to interact. Sometimes we even go international as well as what is obtaining in other countries, in South Africa, in terms of learner support. I remember last year or some 2 years back, there was Commonwealth ODL, where we have presenters from America, UK, from the Commonwealth, to talk about the international acceptable standards that we should run ODL, the learner support systems. Okay, can you go to the next slide? So, characteristic of ODL learners, you need to understand first of all the learners. What is the characteristic of these students that we shall be dealing with? For you to find the remedies, to find the cures, for you to help them, for you to support, you must first of all understand the student that you want to engage. So these people are often working adults or remote learners, like I've explained. Sometimes we deal with in-service people who are often working or remote learners. So remote learners here simply means, like I mentioned, someone from Eastern Province, they want to enroll here, someone from Southern Province. It's not always that they have to come here, but we can teach them using our e-learning platforms. So they have to balance studies with family and work commitments. These people are working. So you must know, as you engage them, how do they fall in our program? How do they fall in our activities? Because they are also working. They are also committed to other family commitments. I'll explain how we do it at Dmi St.Eugene. when it comes to like on balancing studies with family work and the commitments. Sometimes you are a lecturer. You say, we are going to have an online lecture at 8 hours. And you have a class of maybe 200, 300. Do you think you are going to capture all the students? Is it possible? Why? Speak loudly. Correct. That is a challenge. Because you want to deliver. And sometimes you follow a timetable. Your timetable says you must deliver a lesson at 8 hours. But these people you're dealing with, they're family members. Some are also working. So the time you want to offer that lesson, some of them they have already gone for work. So what do you do? What are you going to do in this situation? So this is where now the learner support comes in. You need facilities like a studio where you are going to record these lessons, make audios, videos, and share, so that those who missed the lesson, they can learn at their own time. Need flexibility, but also structured guidance. Yes, flexibility must be there. Like the way I've mentioned that these are structured courses, but at the same time, you're also considering flexibility. You want to deliver a lesson at 8 hours, and then your student will say, no, 8 hours, we are not available. Because of flexibility, you look at the numbers of students who have said no against those who are saying we can be available. For instance, you have 80 students, then 50 say no, we are not available at 8 hours. Maybe if you push the lesson to 14 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, 19 hours, we shall all be available, or the majority will be available. So you agree? It's flexible learning. You push the lecture to 16 hours. What am I going to tell my supervisor? My supervisor knows that I should deliver at 8 hours. Are you getting me? What my supervisor knows is that at 8 hours, according to the timetable, I must deliver. But the students are not there. So because of flexibility, you can push this lesson to 18 hours, to 20 hours, where the students are going to be available. However, we must take into consideration that this is structured learning. You have a syllabus to cover. You have the course outlines, which you have shared with your students. When you engage the students, they must also know that, like the way we have done it at Lake Manawasa, we are saying these students are the same. So we don't have, for instance, a syllabus which is going to cater for open distance learning, and also a syllabus, for instance, for regular students. It's one. Because when people go to work, we shall not say, me, like in the hospital center, me, I'm not going to do this operation because me, I was under ODL. Maybe you who was a regular student do that. Is there anything like that? everyone at the end of the day acquires, if it is a BSc in biomedical sciences, whether regular or under distance learning. The competition that you are going to do, the work, everyone is subjected to the same. Why learner support matters? Learner support is critical in the running of open distance e-learning. I can assure you that it requires a lot of wisdom, a lot of patience, coupled with maturity as well. Why am I putting all these things in? You can ask them. When you are dealing with these people, like we have seen that some work, some are family members, maybe the whole day they were committed. They want to find out something from you. They call you around 21 hours. And Mrs. Bangwe, I've read about this, Mr. Chewe, what is this and this? You are not going to say get out. No. It's out of normal working hours. You have to respond. It's part of learner support. You have to respond to them. Maybe that is when they have found time to communicate. So sometimes we engage people, you tell them, okay, please, they will call. No, me, I can't do this job. My husband was trying to find out, who is this one who is calling you this time? Or my wife is trying to know which people you are dealing to. So that's what I'm saying. This learner support goes beyond what the eye can see. In a big institution, when you are dealing with so many students, especially with different backgrounds, commitments to duty, commitments to family, remoteness as well. Maybe this person, there is no network the whole day. Maybe the network now comes somewhere, they are able to be online somewhere around 15 hours, 16 hours, 21 hours. With the load shedding which was there, all those were some of the issues. And we must enhance learner satisfaction and motivation out of why it matters for learner support. If you are not talking, or if the way you are conducting yourself towards these learners, they draw motivation from us. When they do the registration, which is part of learner support, what is next? Who is supposed to guide them? What is expected? Especially those who are joining for the first time. But if you are such a person who is always shouting, they want to ask. Especially the new students, you shout at them. They will not be motivated. They will start asking questions. Where we have come here, I think the environment is hostile. But if you talk to them nicely, guide them, give them guidance, there is going to be that motivation to learn. There is going to be satisfaction that where we have come, we have been welcomed. And the people here are receptive. We can talk to them. They can guide us. So that's why learner support matters. It bridges the distance gap between institution and student. Like I've said, you are doing registration. You don't expect a student who is in Shangong, who is in Kaputa. They are relying on you to give them information. So that distance gap is removed by open distance learning. They are able to learn that distance gap. You are able to communicate to them. And supports academic achievement. At the end of it, what is it that we are looking for? we are looking for academic achievement. And so this academic achievement comes as a result of good learner support. Okay, can we go to the next? Dimensions of learner support. What are those dimensions or areas that really require support? So number one is, it is the academic support. So when I say academic support, what do I really mean here? What support are you going to give to the students? One, someone who is Shangongo, they have just registered. You must give them, we give them the course outline, the contents, help them to do registration, and also e-learning materials, the modules. You must make sure that the students are able to access the e-learning modules. And as a university, as a college, you must ensure that you produce the e-learning modules. That's when you are going to succeed under this open distance learning. Technical support. So students will need technical support. For instance, especially the new students, they are being introduced for the first time to the e-learning platform, to how to log in, how to access their portals, how to do the payments online, how to access the learning materials online. How to access so many things, and that technical support must be given to the students. It's key, because if they don't have that technical support, they will pay. If your e-learning platform, they don't know how to access it, they cannot access their portals. Ultimately, what it means is that even the e-learning materials, they will not access them. So you need to give them that technical support. And this is critical. Like in our case here, this is when the students are doing the registration. So as I'm speaking the course there, they're asking me, okay, I was doing this, now I got to start here. The technical support, the ICT department comes in as well. The accounts department, all those, to give that technical support to these students. The administrative support. The students will also need that administrative support, which is provided by the chief coordinator, also by, like in our case, what we have done, each program as a coordinator, and also the course coordinator. Also the registrar, they are part of this team. The administrative support, the VC, must know what is happening in ODL. Psychosocial and motivational support. What do you understand by that? Motivational support. The students just come, they are asking you, sir, me, I'm a new student here. So this course which I've enrolled, how is it going to? Of course, you are dealing with in-service students. For instance, they are already in the system, they're biomedical scientists, they have a diploma, now they want to get a degree, or they want to get a master's, or they want to get a PhD. You tell them, why, even if you get a degree, it's the same as the diploma. After all, no one is even going to upgrade you. So, are you motivating that student? There is no motivational support to that student. So we also need to motivate them. They need to know at the end of the day, when they acquire this paper, when they get this academic achievement, apart from self-satisfaction, what are the benefits? You tell them after a year when you finish, if you want to become a lecturer, when you finish your master's, you will join us here. You'll be one of us. The students will be highly motivated and work extra hard. But if we are giving them negative sentiments, they will not. Can go to the next. So for you to do this data support, you need to devise strategies. We shall not just wake up. We need to come up with strategies. How are we going to help our students? How are we going to support them? One of them is clear course design and structured modules. That is very key. Clear course design and structured modules. If I give an example of Dmi St.Eugene University, where I'm coming from, we have done approximately 150 somewhere modules there, and we are paying 16,000 for each module. It's expensive, but for what we have, for you to make money, you must also put in money. Because a student is not going to register for a course under e-learning. How do you support them? You support their learning by modules. So that during their free time, they can go online, access these modules, and start on their own. Basically, that is what is there. They should be able to start on their own during free time. And clear course design. The moment the students register, they must be introduced to the course content. It must be clear. They should know that under this topic, I should learn this. And so, what we want to do now at Dmi, we want to redesign our e-learning platform to make it more, what term are we using? More interactive. To make it more interactive. And so initially, the modules that I'm talking about, which we had, I get a course in hematology, for instance. I do the module for the whole course, for the whole year, for instance. About 120 pages, 160 to cover the whole year. But we thought that this might be a bit challenging for students. So we want to unbundle the modules. So that now what we are going to call a module is going to be a topic. So when we do that, each topic, I would have shown you what we are doing. I'll show you. Each topic is going to have a quiz at the end. When the student finishes, they're supposed to do a quiz. They're also supposed to have assignments. Under that module, if you want, you can even make it more interesting. You can even put videos, you can put website links where they can get more information on that particular topic. So that is basically a big strategy which we are looking in. We have started actually at Dmi St.Eugene University. So I'll show you how our website is looking like. We want the direction which we want to take now. So, time constructive feedback. This is very important. Under learner support. Engagement. When the students engage you, they want to know, when are we going to start learning? When is test 1? How much do I need to pay for me to be a registered student? Where do I look for this service? They come to us. But if we don't give them the feedback, we keep quiet, or we ignore what the students want, then we are not supporting the students. So feedback, timely feedback. So time here means that you don't need to take a long time. Remember, these are busy students. So when they ask, they find time, they ask you, you give them. Try to look for that information which they want and give to them. Then office hours and consultations. We have our IT, which we work in collaboration with Open Distance Learning. At the moment, we are about to establish the ODL, an e-learning center, where we are going to put a studio and all those facilities that support ODL. So you need to have this virtual office hours. These are the ones which I talked about, where students should be able to, using the e-learning platform, to ask questions. I think we have that already. They will ask questions. You are not there, but at your own time you go through and you try to find out what is it which students are asking for. We share through the ICT. Online tutoring and discussion forums. So the lecturers will spearhead this. So as we are speaking, our students, our registration will close on 16th February. And after that, the online tutoring and discussion forums will start. We shall start engaging these learners using our lecturers. They tutor them, they have discussions on certain important aspects of their course. Next. Technical support. Orientation is key. As the students, most of the things which I've talked about, logging into the e-learning platform, amendments, the accessing of the modules, the videos, all those things will require technical support. And this technical support is in form of orientation to the learner management system, which is the e-learning platform. So as we are speaking, in our case, we are discussing the orientation. Also, immediately when the first students, the new students register, we have to do orientation. And this orientation is online. Students don't need to come to Dmi St.Eugene University. No. We do it online. And this is key. No orientation, the students will be confused. They don't know what is going on, where to go, how to access the learning materials, how to access their lecturers. It is during this orientation where we guide them on how are you going to access the e-learning materials. The lecturers, how do you access them? How do you access this course or the courses that you are? We attach them to the courses. And also, The course outlines are given during this time. And also the other digital tools that are available. The Zoom, how do they use Zoom? Which one are we going to be using for learning? How do they access it? The Teams, is it the Teams? So like in our case, we use Moodle. That is the one which we are using. So we have to orient them on how to log into Moodle. Help desks and the user guides. So we have the help desk. They know technical support. If they want ICT related, there is a help desk. And of course, we have mobile friendly platforms like the WhatsApp group. In the WhatsApp group, we have the ICT, all the program coordinators, the course coordinators, the accounts, academic office, admissions office. So the students are able to engage using these mobile-friendly platforms. Apart from the WhatsApp group, on the e-learning platforms, we do share information. On the payments, we share to the students. The recruitment, we use the same e-learning platform. Okay, next. The other support here is administrative support, which I can just expand. Under administrative support, what is it that you expect? Registration is key. Like for us, our first year students, this year we have close to 1,000. Those are the new students. So when it comes to registration, this is a starting point. Most of these students are new. They are new students. How do you support them so that they register? Like in our case, because we are dealing with health-related programs, there is indexing by HPCZ. We know that one, eh? So the students, before they are enrolled, they need to be indexed by HPCZ. And so we need to give this guidance. Someone who is very far away in Solwezi wants to do registration. Before they start learning, HPCZ asks us that our students should first be indexed. And now, how do we support these students who are in very far away distances? Because they will not learn if they are not indexed. So it's during registration. Unfortunately, because of indexing, students have to come for the first time registration. For us, they have to come and do the registration physically so that their qualifications are scrutinized and then indexed by HPCZ. Clear academic calendars and deadlines. Administration must provide the academic calendar. In our case, how do we organize this ODL? We have, immediately when they finish registration, there's going to be orientation as learner support. After orientation, we start tutoring and online discussions. Then we have online lectures. After the online lectures, because our students must be subjected to practicals, assessments. They come for 2 weeks physical, residential. We must do assessments. They must be subjected to practicals. For us, our courses are hands-on. And so these students, they cannot literally just do online lectures. No. We need to assess them. They need to be subjected to skills. We have skills labs for those who are doing the nurses, the midwives. They have to come. And the academic calendar should be clear, given to the students. They should know these are working students. They need to apply for leave if they are going to come. During the final examinations, which is somewhere in October, November, December, they stay for about 4 to 5 weeks. And so the academic calendar should be very clear so that these students should plan. They need to plan. So you need to give them that administrative support. The deadlines. For instance, as administrators, you want them to pay. Your deadlines should be clear. If you don't pay so much percentage by such and such a date, we shall not register you. Or you will not view your CS. Or you will not sit for the final exams. All that information should be clearly given to the students. Accessible policies and procedures. Your students, they are also part of the general populace, both the regular and the ODL. They are subjected to the same policies of the university. Assessments. What are the policies concerning assessments? Like in our case, we are talking about practicals. Our students sometimes will go for 6 months in the hospital for practicals. So what is the policy guiding that? For instance, we want to enroll students in biomedical sciences. Our policy is that only that student who has done or who's got a diploma in biomedical science will be allowed to enroll for BSc biomedical science. Midwives, only a student who is in service and has a diploma in midwifery will be allowed. So we have situations where someone who is a registered nurse applies, wants to be a midwife. We give them that support. According to our policies, apart from our policies, some of the policies we're also drawing them from HPCZ. Okay? And some of the procedures we are also getting from HPCZ for the nurses, for the biomeds, some of which, of course, these students are familiar with, but we keep on emphasizing. Responsive student services. That is administrative support. Sometimes students will have grievances. For instance, I remember we charge these students for internet time. There is internet fee, and the one that I've talked about, practicum sites. And also, when the students are going for practicals, because they pay that money, as an institution, if we send a student to Eastern Province, for instance, it's our duty from that money which that student paid to give them transport money as well as accommodation. So our OBL students, mostly because they do the practicals from their workplace. You see that? The majority will do the practicals from their workplace. That's where they do their placements. So they were questioning. We contribute this money, but we don't benefit from it. Because we are doing our placements from our working places. And they are required to pay somewhere around 4 pin for transport and accommodation. But this caters for regular students. They will do practical. So they raised that issue. So we are responding to it. The other one, internet. When they come, they are paying internet fee. It's about 2,000 kwacha. Yes, internet fee. Now when they come, where they stay, there's no internet. They start questioning, why are we paying when this internet, we are not accessing it? So as administrators, you must respond quickly to such kind of issues which the students are raising, because at one point they can be litigation matters. Okay. Can I pause for 2 minutes? Any questions? Or any clarifications? Or you ask after I finish? Yes, please.
Yes, sir. You talked about the interaction with the students. How do you ensure that indeed interaction has taken place and the student's query has been attended to, since you are using the system?
Very good. I think my boss is here. He can also respond.
Thank you for that question. So we are talking about interacting with learners from various situations, and we need to meet their needs. Each learner has different needs, and they have to be met accordingly. So sometimes they would phone you, and you discuss anytime, but of course not after midnight. Yeah. So they will phone you. You be receptive. You need to be receptive and answer them. Or we have, like he mentioned, the WhatsApp group that we have. They will post a question there, and sometimes you would wait. You know the way students are. Sometimes they will, if they are aggrieved or what, they will post a question. Like if there is delay, maybe in starting lectures, or they are frustrated in one way or the other, they will post something to trigger the discussion on the platform. So as a lecturer, it's always important not to respond, especially if it is maybe a greeting statement that has been posted there, because you just ignite the fire. So it's better you call that person and then you discuss it at personal level. Thereafter, you can actually clarify it on the platform. I don't know whether I have answered that question.
No, not very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, there should be a way to verify that the student's consent was attended.
Mm-hmm.
For example, a student says, I'm waiting for the results, was my sponsor being considered?
Yes. So for the results, what happens is, I don't know whether my colleague mentioned that, when we are orienting them to the portal, they are taught on how to navigate. That's inclusive of viewing their own results. Okay? So we don't give them results as individuals. No, we give them, the results are posted on the portal. So they have to view it on the portal. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so that's a critical issue. Students, when they ask how do we ensure that we have responded to them. In addition to what she has said, those are common situations. The students, mostly the issues which they would want to know is under administrative support, the deadlines for the fees. Like in our case, for a student to register, they must pay 25%. That's when they register. At some other time, the registrar is going to issue a memo to all the students that now at this point, we can pay another 25%. So if the students are not responding, they go on when it comes to the examinations. Like she has mentioned, the system will allow the students to sit for the exam or not, because they have to print their own docket. So if you have not met the threshold, then the system automatically bans that student. However, there is room for negotiations. Students will come. They will come to us here. No, we have challenges, these and these. We tell them, can you put it in writing? But there's someone who is above us, who is the registrar, and the top management. We forward those cases. Apart from that, in terms of learner support, the students also have a union. Through their representatives, when they come, the students, we have a meeting. We ask from them. We talk to them, then we give them an opportunity also to express their views. During that time, management is there. The VC, the registrar, they'll ask. And some of these are responded to. Accounts is there. Apparently, we have issues from accounts. The student will say, okay, sir, like these days when they are doing registration, they are anxious. They want to register. I paid yesterday, or I paid on such and such a day. But when I go to my portal, that money is not reflecting. I can't see it. Meanwhile, the registration deadline is getting closer and closer. So we have those cases. We forward them to accounts. That's why on our account, on our WhatsApp group, accounts is there, so that they are able to see for themselves what problems the students are encountered.
Maybe I can just with another. So another thing I want to talk about is the other administrative support is that ODL is an integrated unit. It is, and it has got ODL Senate Committee. So this Senate Committee is headed or is spearheaded by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics. And then we have representation from each school. Additionally, we have the ICT director in there. We also have the student representative under the open distance learning to represent or advocate the affairs of the ODL students. So some of the concerns, like my brother asked there, some of the problems or issues students face, they come through the student representative during the ODL committee meeting. So we meet every quarter, and those minutes are sent to the VC. Thank you.
Any other clarification or question from the members? Yes, sir.
How long does it take to coordinate that meeting with the students? For me, what we have should be on a click. The student should not wait. That is the view. Anything that requires WhatsApp in order to be resolved is not efficient. If the system requires the use of WhatsApp, which you don't have control over, then it's something that is not a part of the system. It has to be improved.
No, WhatsApp is just one of the learner support tools that we use under the digital learner support systems. So in case of queries from the students, like I mentioned earlier on, we are dealing with students that work, that our family matters, and so many social community issues to attend to. So, the students, sometimes it can be a problem which is affecting the whole class. Like this time, we are dealing with exemptions. We are dealing with registration. We are dealing with results. You discover, a group just discovered that, okay, maybe there's a problem with this course. The results, some have received, others have not received. So they will forward those cases to us as coordinators. There is this problem. In School of Nursing, for instance, pathology is not there. Anatomy is not there. So we take it upon ourselves to go to the team. This is what is coming from our students. We need to resolve this quickly. For instance, if it is results, we have those issues. The team will take all the consent, program coordinators, course coordinators, that matter is resolved. Sometimes it's individual or personal. Someone will call, they have our numbers. This problem, how do you help me? Those which have the answers, we give there and then. Those which I don't have the answer, I will go to because you're representing the whole university. I will look for the particular coordinator. Not to wait. We call. We resolve. But of course, there are things that, like she mentioned in a meeting. For instance, the one which I talked about, the issue of transport. The students will come in the ODL committee meeting where the GVC is there. They will say, okay, for us as students, this is what is coming from all the students. We are paying this amount of money, but we are not benefiting. That is not for an individual, but it's the whole student populace. Okay? You have called us to come around this time. We feel that as students, during this time, we shall overstay here. How can you help us with timetabling for the final examinations? That is discussed in the audio academic meeting, which is going to affect all the students. And then we sit now, agree, okay, instead of having, for instance, a residential, physical residential, yes, in term 3. So that don't stay for 7 weeks or for 6 weeks. Students will complain. They will not give us that leave. So we agree with the students, okay, instead of the physical, term 3, it's going to be online, 2 weeks online, and we ensure that if they're going to do the practicals, they're going to do the assessments, we have already done that. And towards the examinations, what is it that we do? Because normally the examination will start immediately after the residential. We give them a week or so, the exam will start. We make sure that the next 2 weeks, the students come. So that is how it is. However, there are so many channels that students see who use to communicate. And we must make sure that we attend to this. Because we are dealing with a huge number of students, 3,000 plus is a big number. And so we make sure that we attend to some of these issues, which, if we have the answer, some will require the VC. So we'll sit down in the meeting, the DVC will say, this one, it has to go to the top for the final decision, and we agree like that. Next. I hope it is a bit okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, so the other one is the psychosocial support. What we have done, this support is very important. In the past, there used to be that segregation. No, after all, you students for audio, you don't learn enough. As in the regular arrangement, we are doing a lot of learning than you. So that will make them not to have that sense of belonging. You have a different curricula for audio students and a different curricula for the regular students. What is it that the audio students want? At one point, I interacted with these audio students. We told them that you are going to sit for the same examination, same time, same place. That did not sit well with the audio students. They said, the reason we enrolled under audio students is that we have our own examination, which is different from the regular students. Because we are not the same. That is coming from the students. We are not the same. Then we asked them that, is the curriculum which the regular students are using and the one which we are using different? They are the same. Like I said earlier on, when you go to work, like in our case, we deal with patients. Like I explained earlier on, are you going to say, me, I did ODL, so I will not attend to this patient? You who did regular, you are the one who is going to attend to that patient. Is that what happens? When it comes to promotion, are you going to say, because me, I was ODL students, don't promote me? In short, you are telling yourself that I don't have enough content, promote this one. Is that what happens? The opportunities are same. And the paper that we give them, we say, this one is ODL, this one is regular. For us, it's the same. And so, we are telling them that you are the same. You are one student. And so that gives them the sense of belonging. They go to sit for an exam. Here there are regular students, here there is ODL students. They have that sense of belonging. And they know that the knowledge which I've acquired here is the same as the knowledge which this regular student has acquired. Okay, I'm told that we should go for break for about 20 minutes. I think we can talk more about this. Continue.
So thank you so much, sir. So now it's time for health play. So thanks for your active participation. So all participants. So we will now take a health play from our time is 10:35. Can take 10 minutes for health play. So try to come on time. Okay, thank you. So just 10 minutes.
So if we have that, it doesn't have which game was initially decision supposed to be the components of the practical part.
Most of the online stuff, sir.
Yes.
Online schools.
Oh, I see. Okay. So how many minutes are we doing? How many minutes? The thing actually is the only supposed to be okay. From negotiating for about 3 minutes. See who's next. Just 3 minutes for it. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay, good morning once again. Alright, so let me just wind up. So both of these are talked about. We have the counseling services. Of course, you know, we offer counseling services as a course as well. And so we've got quite a number of them. We have a department under the team for which offers counseling services. Next. Next. Yeah, so maybe to wind up, I can look at strategies to increase engagement. So interactive discussions and collaborative tasks, problem-based and real-world learning. When we talk about interactive discussions and collaborative tasks, so students be given assignments, the tasks which sometimes they do in groups, and also they are involved in research. They are also involved in, when it comes to skills labs, all those are interactive discussions. I'm talking about use of multimedia simulations, which we have already talked about, the WhatsApp, just to amplify. You can go to the next. So, just amplifying again on effective online communication. regular announcements and reminders. So these regular announcements and reminders, we send them through memos, through the e-learning platform. We have the email addresses for the students that are sent to their emails, the reminders, the WhatsApp groups, the phone calls. All these are effective online communication. Personalized feedback, which my brother there was talking about. We do offer those services. Messages, students who have a lot of messages, we respond to them. Quite a number of messages on WhatsApp, text messages, and also on the e-learning platform, there is a component where we send messages to the students and also they respond. Encouraging student questions. Sometimes you need to prompt, you need to find out from students. They can decide to keep quiet. Meanwhile, there's something that is eating up. So you need to find out, and they will open up. And we've talked about prompt responses as an effective tool for online communication. Next. Yeah, these are just summaries. Active learning in audio. So group projects using online tools. Peer review activities like the research. Sometimes they will do research in groups. And then this is peer reviewed. Some are also involved in the writing of journals, those who are doing masters, those who are doing PhDs, we have under open distance learning. And finally, I would like to say that maybe I didn't mention under administrative support. All these activities that we are talking about, the operation of open distance and e-learning, should be guided by a policy. You must operate within the policy. You must operate according to what the policy is stating. So we have the ODL and e-learning policy. Sometimes, in summary, there are those lecturers who are involved in teaching. They are also part of learner support. But they will say, this service which we are giving is not for free. We need to be paid. So what do? You go to your policy. What is the policy stating on this? On the payments, the modules that I talked about, on the orientation, all those things, all the activities under ODL must be guided by the policy. The policy is very important. As an institution, you must have a policy. And we draw some of the activities from the national policy and higher education authority. Right. So finally, this is the last one, right?
No, sir. There's a lot of slides.
Okay, next. Yeah. Finally, there's the issue of whatever you do, you must assess your students. Assessment is very important. If we are going to talk about e-learning, how effective, remember when we had COVID, we did a lot of e-learning and some assessments were done online. Even in the developed countries, the UK, the USA, but online assessments have also got their own issues, which I think everyone will say yes to. They are good, and at the same time they can also be bad. There is a lot of cheating, But if you design your work like a quiz in such a manner that we are seated together and we have been given 20 minutes. We are the four of us. So that I'm doing question 1. This one it has given in question 20. It has given question 15. But it's the same. set quizzes like that. However, again, there is a risk of cheating. And so all that will require the orientation for students to understand. You give the timeline, immediately they finish this module, at the end the quiz pops up. So you must do this formative assessment to track progress. I know we know what formative assessments are. There's also summative assessments. Formative, like a quiz, is an example of a formative assessment. Okay? Timely feedback. Online quizzes or assessments are good because immediately the student finishes, he or she will receive even the results. That is the beauty about online assessments. Immediately they finish, you have fed your system with the answers. Upon finishing the results, the students just click on results to give them, this is what you have gotten out of this quiz. And then it goes to you if you are going to record or whatever you are going to do with those assessments. Next. Yeah. So I'm just summing up. When you are doing these online assessments, because the feedback is quick, it's fast, you can easily identify students who are at an end stage. Because you have received the results there and then, you are able to identify the weaker students and implement remedial measures. Okay? Next. Yeah, so finally, we can conclude by talking about inclusive learner support. It's very important. Today we are talking about inclusive learning. So how to support that kind of a group of students under ODL with disabilities, hearing impairment, those who can't see, with quite a number of disabilities, you mentioned them. So you need to be able to come up with deliberate policies in your policy there. How do you support such kind of students? Because this is in line with what the government is talking about today, inclusive learner support. Even under ODL, we should find a way of helping such kind of learners. They are there. How do we help them? So, I will end my presentation, this note. I would like to say thank you for inviting the Mwanawasa Medical University, and in particular myself, to offer this talk. We are available. We shall also invite you one of these days, so that this is very important because it keeps us in touch and to know what others are doing as we offer audio. It's quite a challenging task, and so it's a multi-sector. It requires all of us to come together and see how we can help these students, how we support them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your good presentation, and it was very informative. And without further ado, we'll move to the next presentation. We now proceed to next second session titled Online Assessment, Proctoring and Evaluation Method. So before inviting our facilitator, I would like to introduce him. Okay, so Dr. Dmi St.Eugene is a computer science lecturer and chief instructor, software engineer and AI researcher based in Zambia. He served as the managing director of Regular Incorporation and is actively involved in the developing innovative digital platform, including large-scale marketplace and education technology solutions. His professional interests span software engineering, machine learning, and mobile and web system, and applied technology for community impact. Dr. Kosha is passionate about mentoring students, advancing practical ICT education, and building solutions that address real-world challenges in Africa. So, without further ado, we'll invite our facilitator. Sir, the stage is yours. We welcome him with a big round of applause. Sir.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come at this faculty program, and it's been a pleasure because I'm now a St. Eugene, because most of the time I've been invited on some of the talks, also under the development of under computer science. So thank you so much. So we're going to go through, and my job this morning is very simple because the previous presenter has touched most of the things that we're going to look at and assessments and progress. So just as we are waiting for the cable to come through, we are going to chat because this is a teacher learners program. So that is what we're going to go through. So as we're waiting, I would like to ask just a question on what kind of methods do we use in lecturing, and also what are some of the challenges that we face during, do we prefer the face-to-face or just the online tutoring? So I think as we're waiting for the cable to come through, we can just open the floor by just chatting which methods do we think is good for us, either online or just face-to-face. Yes, sir. Are you a member? Do you teach or part of management? Yeah, so which method do you think is